Okay, in this video, I'm going to share with you 17 email marketing money hacks that I've learned after around 4.5 years of running one of the best email marketing agencies for D2C brands on the market right now. I'm going to brisk through all of them. These are all really high leverage strategies that I implore you to learn, work into your strategy. This is pretty much most of the things you need to know to take an email marketing strategy from average to one that some of the top fast growing 7 and 8 figure D2C brands are using. Without further ado, I'm going to get into things. 18 money making secrets to instantly make your email marketing more profitable. So, number one is pop up forms. We want to be getting our pop up form to convert around 10 to 25%. I'm doing a little flex here where I've got an email sign up rate for one of our brands at 29%. But getting this right gets everything else better. If we can increase the amount of leads and traffic that is coming to our website on a monthly basis and convert them onto our email list at a high cadence, we then have more people funneling into our pre-purchase flows, and ultimately we've got a higher chance of converting those customers because then we can nurture them through welcome flows, abandoned carts, get them over the line, and then they're in our email list. So then we can really dramatically increase the likelihood that we can increase their lifetime value through campaigns, through replenishment flows, whatever it might be. Rule number one, get as much of your traffic as possible onto your email list. For most of our brands, we're using Alia as our tech stack. Our design team just has way more flexibility when it comes to the style, structure, timing, and offer. These are the key levers to designing a really, really good sign-up form. Go look at the Alia template library. Go get a feel for what formulas work, this sort of quiz, making it interactive, increasing and optimizing the UX is huge, and one of the key things we love about Alia, making it a really aesthetic customer journey, testing offers, using quizzes. These are some of the key foundations to getting a really, really high converting sign-up form. Not too much clutter, not asking for too much information. Get that pop-up form to 10 to 25%. It can be done, and you should aim for that. That should be your goal. Number two, phase one and phase two framework. This is patented for my agency, but I'm releasing it to the world right now. So if you brand owner watching this, go and start working with another agency and they start pitching phase one and phase two frameworks, you can know surely that they've copied us, and it's probably a better job to go to the original thought leaders, come to Auraseed. But the reason I ideated phase one and phase two is because I realized so many brands get lost trying to accomplish so many things. When it comes to email marketing, you really need to create distinct phases. So within media buying, for example, you'll have ad campaigns which are in a testing phase and then a scaling phase. And I feel like it should be the same with email marketing. So for us, phase one is all about getting the foundational flows in place. This should be a 60 to 90-day window where you focus on getting a foundational evergreen welcome flow, a foundation evergreen abandoned cart flow, checkout flow, browse abandonment, post-purchase flow. Get all of these done at a really high level, but don't try and have too many complicated splits within that customer journey, or zero-party data splits, or split by price, etc. All of these things sound great, make the person telling you to do it sound really, really clever, but ultimately these are really not what it takes to get 90% of the results. So create a clean window where all you do is focus on getting 1 to 2 campaigns out a month. Don't necessarily need to ramp that. Let's say 3 to 4 is your sweet spot. 1 to 2 a week is all you need to be doing, 1 to 2 a week. And within that 90 days, focus on getting the campaigns or the flows implemented at a high level, but the foundations, nothing too crazy. Once you've cleanly finished phase one, then you can enter ramping campaign cadence. So now like 3 to 4 campaigns, and then you can start to optimize and test your flows. And I recommend doing, 3 to 4 tests a month, no more. And this is like an ongoing monthly approach you should have to email marketing, where you're constantly sort of observing your campaign data, getting campaigns out on a regular basis, and then optimizing and testing your flows. So one month you might go, oh, I want to test whether or not having a zero-party data split within the welcome flow makes a difference. Try it with one email. If it works, start to build them out. So don't try and get too fancy within the first 90 days. Get the foundations done properly and then start to make micro improvements month in, month out. And over a year or two, your email marketing will continue to get more and more world-class and continue to compound. Get better designers. My agency, there was before I hired world-class designers, and there was after I hired world-class designers. The outputs that you get are night and day. So I just really recommend hiring better designers, look at their portfolio, have a high standard. There's so much talent out there. You get better designers, you get better outputs. Simple as that. That has been a game changer for my agency and my brands. Use AI to get design feedback. This is key, and it can also even be feedback around your campaign calendar, past campaign performance. But what you want to do is feed in some of your designs and go, give me a clear aesthetic breakdown and structural breakdown on how I can optimize the UX, shoppability, and brand experience for this email to increase the likelihood we're going to get engagement, opens, click-throughs, and placed orders. You start to do this, you'll start to get a more sophisticated approach to how you audit your own emails and start to see maybe gaps on where they can be improved so you don't run into creative fatigue. Use AI smart. You can feed in your emails there, get creative feedback, get strategic feedback, and then make improvements on your own work. Focus on hero products within the welcome flow. One area I think a lot of brands can improve their placed order rate is just by getting more intentional with the content pillars within their welcome flow. If you're a media buyer, you focus on hero products because you know there's a lot of data to suggest cold audiences will be most likely to purchase this particular product. So let's say you've got 2 or 3 hero products, for example, make sure you're spotlighting each of those products and dedicate an email to them within the welcome flow. Yes, you want about the brand. Yes, you want general intros. Yes, you want, broader product categories, but have 2 or 3 emails which just spotlight the hero products. And you do this, you'll realize that you're going to get way higher engagement and way higher placed orders because you're giving the products that initially attracted customers to your brands in the first place, you're giving them more time, more your customers or leads, more time and attention with those products, and watch placed orders go up. This was a big, big difference for us. Patagonia, spotlighting Hero Fleece, for example. Let's say your fleece is one of the hero products. This could be a great email to have as email 3 within your welcome flow, for example. What you also want to do is optimize best sending cadences based on a year's worth of sending data. So if you've already been sending for a long time, again, export a CSV of a year's worth of campaign data, bang it into GPT and just go, give me a clear and honest and objective breakdown on the best sending times and best sending days so we can start to build a predictable sending cadence for our emails. And over time, you want to know what your schedule is. You want to know what works best for you. At a certain point, testing 10 times doesn't work. It's better to just build familiarity in the inbox with your audiences and stick to a schedule. So this is an example of an audit we did for one of our brands. Work your best campaign angles into your welcome series as well. This is very similar to getting your hero products within the welcome flow, but get your best campaign angles into the welcome series. This is such low-hanging fruit. Let's say you're a supplement brand and there's so many different goals or pain points or health issues you help people optimize for. Well, over months and months of sending campaigns, you should be testing these different angles. What you want to then go back and look at, you know, campaigns with high clicks and obviously high placed orders as well. Look for patterns and go and make logical assumptions around what emails should be worked into your welcome flow. This is really, really high leverage, and this is definitely a part of phase 2 behavior to go back to my framework. Heavily format AI copy. Write emails to one customer in mind, be authentic. This is an email that was mad from Set Active, where essentially the whole copy idea was that the copywriter went on vacation and we need to send something before the end of the year. So I'm going to give this my best shot. So it's almost writing like it's another team member who's just taken over and they're writing like a stream of consciousness. She'd probably write something more clever than that up button, but you get the effect. Sort of just playing around like, KK, this is harder than I thought. So they're clearly writing to like a female demographic. It's girly. It's like a best friend. AI wouldn't come up with this. So like you need to at least give the inputs to be creative, to be out there, to steal attention, to pattern interrupt. It's going to be like it's already so obvious when people are using AI and ChatGPT for copy. We really, really want to focus on sending authentic content that ChatGPT couldn't create. And the irony is you can use AI to do that just with the right inputs and the right awareness around what AI and classic AI red flags look like. You want to be creative, authentic, and occasionally you just want to throw the rule book out and be a bit mad, do a bit of guerrilla marketing over emails. This is going to get attention. This was a genius example. Use GIF use GIF content. It makes your emails way more engaging. Again, if we're thinking about the brainwave state and the amount of time people spend on your emails, if you're using GIF content to hook people in, it's going to make your emails look more attractive, more engaging, spark dopamine, and get people to dwell on your emails a little longer. And it might just, with volume, increase the likelihood people click through on your emails on a predictable basis. More than anything else, it just looks cool. It makes your emails look appealing. And when your emails are cool and look appealing and people like opening them, they're going to get into the habit of opening them more. And over time, you're going to get more people clicking through to your website and making orders. So we always like to work in dynamic GIF content, even if it's simple here. That one looked really, really badass. Keep it simple, do the basics well. This is something some of the email marketers I respect a lot really focus on. I do jujitsu, I do martial arts, and one of the things that you learn is at the highest level, sometimes the world champions are just doing the basic moves you learned in white belt class, but the highest level. Those are foundational flows at a high level, 2 to 3 optimizations a month, predictable campaign cadence, hit your send dates, look at the data, improve upon your angles, position, be consistent. Be consistent, send to engage segments, keep deliverability high, designs, content, make them really, really good, hire good people, simple as that. Do the basics well at a high level. Don't overcomplicate really, really, really crazy things. Oftentimes we've, in the past worked in really complex like retention programs, loyalty programs. More often than not, customers don't care about it and it sinks hundreds of hours. So do the basics really, really well to get 85 to 90% of the results. Pareto's law. Do monthly audits in your account. This is something I'm a big, big fan of. If you worked with an agency or if you've got a freelancer, they may well have done a big audit on the front end. I recommend doing a monthly audit and then look for 2 to 3 improvements that you can make off the back of that audit. 2 to 3 areas that could be improved upon, really. You always want to be looking for where could things be better. Work on 2 or 3 of them every month. Make habits of that. Don't try and do 10 things in one month. Find 2 or 3 things off the back of the audit that you think can be improved upon. Reverse engineer why you think they could be better, and then make a plan, implement it, and then look at the data. Do monthly audits. This is again phase 2 behavior. Monthly audits are a big one. Choose 3 test plus optimizations every month. Good habits equals random testing. I've kind of spoken to this principle already, but when I first started this game, there are many email marketers trying to like flex, look really, really clever online. And oftentimes it led me to feel a bit overwhelmed. Like, oh, I should have like 10 different splits within my flows. I should be doing like A/B tests on everything. It's like, well, where do I start? Again, monthly audits, then just choose 3 testing optimizations every month and implement them. And then have a system where you look back at the data, present back to your team, or if you're the founder watching this, you know, reflect on those insights, etc. Or go over them with your agency, for example, and go, what do we think about that? What did we learn? What are the next 3 tests that we want to make, etc. Simple as that. Don't overcomplicate it. Build good testing and optimization habits that over a year lead to great results versus overshooting, overcomplicating things, and then just never really doing anything with those tests and forgetting about them. You want to take a balanced approach to content pillars. Product spotlights, founders notes, behind the brand, education, value, entertainment. Make your emails shoppable, make them aesthetic at times, make them artsy. Occasionally follow best practices, occasionally break best practices. Over time, look over a year's worth of campaign data and start to find what works for you, but always leave a campaign, 2 or 3 of the campaigns a month to try something new. Run a new ad, for example, but like see your emails as ads, run a new idea and see how it works, and you might find a new email winner. So this is what you want to do. Take a holistic approach to your content pillars. Make 50 to 70% of your emails shoppable. Maybe that has 2 P's in. I'm dyslexic. Who cares? I don't write all of the copy these days, and I have Grammarly. Make 50 to 70% of your emails shoppable. Okay. The reason I say 50 to 70% is because you need to find out what works for your brand. But sometimes you want artsy emails. Sometimes you want emails that are just really cool brand experiences and vibes. But more often than not, I see a lot of brands get away from the foundations, which are you've got beautiful products. They're really, really cool. You've got a lot of them. You need to get them in front of your customers, make them easy to navigate, curate images really well around that product and make it shoppable. So I think Vuori did it really, really cool with this particular jacket. All about the one jacket and this little body warmer. Very shoppable and nice breakdown. You want to be getting these in regularly because you don't want to assume your customers know all of your SKUs. You want to be getting them and repeat them on a monthly basis in front of your customers and make it really easy to shop. You want to load back the sling with brand experiences and brand builders and really get people to buy into your community. Cool lookbooks, cool mood boards, all of that stuff. But then occasionally you just want to like release the slingshot and double down on all of that good relationships you've built by sending shoppable emails, and the placed order rates and the click-throughs are going to be really, really high when you sort of like release the slingshot. Nail above the fold. There's so many studies to suggest that around 80% of your audience don't make it past the fold. So if it's not a vibe, if it doesn't set the scene, if it doesn't hook people, your email's wasted. Focus on the real estate above the fold. It could be one of the easiest things you do. Your designer should really know what makes good above the fold content, and your copywriter should really understand how to tee your designer up for best practices. So just remember, train your team on above the fold content, and you're going to go very, very far. You want to find recurring features that work and then stick with them. Umbro is a really, really cool supplement brand, and they're a really good example of this. They regularly do a Mythbuster email. Fiber is full of SH1T. And that is a predictable content pillar within their monthly campaigns. They do educational ones where they break down a molecule and tell people what they are and do a little science lesson. Again, who said long form copy doesn't work sometimes? Occasionally break the rules. This one's a ritual, a recipe, for example. Find content pillars at work. Build monthly recurring features, build edits, and build systems around it. And again, always test, but over time, you want to start to find recurring features at work. Customers look forward to open them. So edits, spotlights, reflections, meditations from the founder. These things work really, really nicely. Follow other brands for inspiration. Always test new ideas. So we use Panoramata. to track other brands. And it's a great way, like you can go here, I've just look at Rode, for example, you can see a month's worth of campaigns, get inspiration for above the fold content, get inspiration for subject lines, get inspiration for different product categories. It doesn't even need to be the same product category as you. If you just follow brands you love, you're going to start to fill up the creative you're going to start to fill up the creative your creative inspiration as well. You just want to be doing this on a regular basis. Creativity, you sometimes need to feed yourself with inputs and then let creativity come out. So you want to track and follow other brands. This will get you through dry spells and like creative blocks, let's say. So find one good email database and track other brands for inspiration, follow brands you love, and sure enough, you're going to come up with a mountain of good ideas. There's so many brilliant marketers across the world working for different brands. If everyone did that, we're cross-pollinating ideas and it's net good for the marketing world. 2 to 5 plain text emails per month. Again, a sort of a vague range there, but you just want to be working in some plain text emails. Oftentimes, our plain text emails slam and generate the most placed orders. But again, if you were to then run every email as plain text, it wouldn't work. It's the contrast, it's the variation that works. Again, be intentional about where you bold things, be intentional about the flow of things, about the tone. Don't make it super crap and super AI. Be clever with the flow and the tone, but also be clear with the objective of the email. Don't try and cover too many things. Don't waffle. Have the intention, have the goal, and have the CTA to be really, really clear. Just one idea for a plain text email, do 2 to 3 a month. They work really, really nicely. Okay, there it is. These are predictable themes I always see in audits for the 7 and 8 figure brands that come to work with Auraseed, my agency, on a monthly basis. So I want to share them with you there. Make a list of those things. Start implementing it over time into your email strategy. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.